Hi, I'm Dr. Mike.
And I'm Gavin.
And this is NFGeeks. Gavin, thanks again for coming on to NFGeeks today. Today I want to talk to you about some stuff that you have been doing actually with me. Actually, let's go the other way around. I've been sort of your subject for you and your work, the way you're doing this now. And you basically recorded me lecturing and talking about what I do as a teacher for basically television, or the television project. So it has to do with your major and what you're doing. So I thought it would be a cool topic. So what is it that you're doing? What is your major?
Well, right now, actually, my major is general studies.
Right.
However, I'm going to be maybe changing my major, maybe going into a different school for a different type of education, but definitely with communications, with media, with possibly television, possibly independent video, but whatever the case.
Possibly NFGeeks.
Possibly NFGeeks.
That's right. It's, big time. Hitch your wagon to a star. We're going global. Actually, we already are global. Okay. What made you choose that? What was the appeal?
Well, it was something that I had been doing really amateurish, really very little of, actually, but it was something that I just liked. It was something that I could just grasp my hands onto and just play around with it, do whatever I wanted, and have absolute freedom over it. And I really enjoyed what little things that I had made and put on the internet to be forgotten and never looked at again. But ultimately, and I realized that I was really liking it, so I went into high school and I took some video courses there. They never really formulated into anything, but now that I'm in college and I'm going through the processes and I'm remembering all of the information I learned and remembering all the joy I had, it's really a beautiful thing for me to have actually found something I can like and enjoy and possibly do as a career.
Oh yeah.
All of those at once are very hard to get to fit together.
Yeah, well, that's great. This is why I like having you, here and talking about NFGeeks, because, I don't want to do that stuff. I want to be the star. You know what I mean? I'm the star. You know what I mean? But that stuff is cool stuff, to do. What are your goals? Where do you think you're going to? What type of thing in media would you like to do? I mean, you can list more than one, but where do you want to go with all this, and what stuff do you like?
Well, there are different ways I can go. I mean, personally, since I know the technology, I could be in a studio somewhere. I could be maybe some studio in Hollywood. I could do maybe some independent studio. I could be in a newsroom. I could be in some kind of production role there. Alternatively, there's me making things. There's the fact that people always compliment my voice and how I have a very clear, precise voice.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? Now that you just said that, a lot of INFPs do. A lot of INFPs would be good at voiceovers, like for documentaries and reading things like that. A lot of INFPs I know, that's been said to them too. So it's funny you just said that, because now you just clicked in my head. See, you are an INFP. Yeah, phew. Well, at least we got closer. All right. I would agree with the voice part. What type of media things are you interested in? Do you want to do documentaries? Do you want to do skits and shows, real shows? Does it matter? Would you go into movies? I mean, what are some of the things you're interested in? It could be more than one.
Well, let's see. I can see myself in the future. Absolute pipe dream. Probably never going to happen, but what I would like to do...
Go for it.
I would like to be an editor on Game of Thrones. I would like to be a voice actor who gets whatever. I become names like Steve Bloom. I become names like Liam O'Brien. You probably have no idea who those people are. That's fine. But these are just huge names that are everywhere. They're voice actors.
For what?
Everything.
Like video games, cartoons, really?
Everything.
Okay.
I would love to be one of those kinds of people. And as far off and distant as these goals may be, I personally think that I can at least maybe reach one as long as I just keep going for it. So I'm going to keep going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I wouldn't stop you. That's for sure. Oh, that's really cool. So you're learning about, that's very cool actually. You're learning about the technical side. You know, you can't see it, but there's a whole.
There's a camera, there's a tripod.
Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. Lights. No, there's no lights. But you're right. He brought tech. What part of working with the tech has been a challenge? You know, what part of this has been really like work? Not in a bad way, but just really got to focus on it.
Probably the actual application of them. I mean, you can teach someone about how to use a device. You can teach someone about how to approach a subject. But then when they actually have to grapple onto it and do it themselves, it might not always be perfect, especially with something as delicate as like a camera, which has a million functions, all of which you should be setting yourself if you know what you're doing. So it really kind of makes it difficult to approach, but that's what I kind of like about it. It's something that's a challenge that I can actually do and create a product that I can give to the world.
Yeah,
I love
artistically. That's right. Someday the Game of Thrones.
Maybe.
That's right. Or something similar to the Game of Thrones. All right, you're gonna hate me. I haven't seen a single episode of the Game of Thrones.
And this episode ends abruptly.
I just, I have academic pursuits and things I have to do. It's not that I hate it or anything or think that it sucks. I just haven't been able to get there.
It's a popular thing. I can understand if you haven't had the time.
Yes.
Just stay away from all information. Watch from the first episode.
Okay.
And you'll be fine.
Well, that's easy because I know Zip, so that'll be fine. Although I could tell you everything about Adventure Time. I know that. What can I say? So there's an imbalance going on there. All right. What type of media or type of show or anything would you not want to do? What would be something to be like, oh God, what a chore?
I worked at a radio station.
Really?
Well, very briefly. They paid me very little. I'm not going to say the name of the station, but it just wasn't feasible to continue working there, continue counting the distance and how much I was making. Gas was more expensive than what I was actually making. But ultimately, it was a news station that was just mostly talk, no music, just like talking, sports talk, and that was mostly what the station prioritized itself, and that's what made it famous in its own way. But at the same time, as I learned the technology that was there, I spoke with the people that were there, it is not the place I want to be, or at least not the area that I want to be, because it just doesn't agree with me, because the opinions that are expressed are normally like unpopular opinions, or at least if they are popular opinions, they're not ones I agree with.
Okay.
So it's more of a personal, like, I never want to go there again.
Well, I'm curious. See, but now I'm curious. I don't have to name it, but was it AM or FM?
It was AM radio.
Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Then if I could at least guess like 2 or 3 stations, But why would you work there?
There was, well, it started as an internship.
Okay.
It started as a means of finding some place that could potentially hire me that kind of suited my interests, which it did for the most part.
It's media, it's stuff, right?
Right.
No argument there.
It's just once I got around to the content, to the actual how everything was handled, it did not bode well for my future with them. And while certainly I wish that they do very well in the future, of course, I still have some friends that are there, but ultimately it's not where I can see myself going, and I can't see similar environments, similar content being in my future.
Wow. All right, that's pretty serious.
Yeah.
Now we have a studio here at the school. Have you been using that, or have you been able to utilize it, or are you familiar with it at all?
I'm somewhat familiar with it. I take courses that are based in that very studio.
Yeah, we've used it. I've used it for it. You'll recognize it on some NFGeeks videos.
Yes, and while we have had practice with the actual studio, I've never used it for personal projects or anything like that yet. But
like juggling, it hasn't come up.
Nope, haven't juggled.
Not yet.
No clown acts yet. It's on the list. But, it's mostly just learning how to use the things, but I haven't actually gotten to use them yet.
Okay. Do you have where this is going to be like a tech question, but all right, we'll start with the past.
Okay.
Are you working with, or do you see any technology that is sort of obsolete or about to be obsolete? Like, okay, it's cool that we have this, but like, we might as well have an 8 millimeter, going if we're gonna have this thing.
I can't say right now because I haven't really gotten the grasp on what the modern technology is.
Mm-hmm.
Back when I was in high school, we were still using what are called DV tapes, and the tapes, which were literal pieces of tape,
Right.
took forever because you had to watch the whole thing as you're uploading it and putting it on the computer to be edited. Whereas now we just have little SD cards this big, and you can just do everything. It's all right here.
Wow. Thank God.
Yeah.
Boy, using that wasn't that long ago though. That's kind of cheap.
Yeah.
To use tapes. I mean, they might as well just have a VHS tape.
Yeah.
At least it's more fun, old school. All right. Has there been any technology that you've been surprised with? Like, wow, I didn't know that this was this cool.
Honestly, it's mostly been like some of the cameras that I've seen. Just the amount of things that you can just fit in a single frame, and just how you can be able to control them, how you're able to adjust them, how you're able to manipulate everything. You can take something that looks like utter crap in 1 second and then just move the camera to the side, adjust the lighting, adjust a few settings on the camera, and it looks beautiful, like it's something out of a full-out feature film.
Wow. That's amazing, and we have that all here.
We do.
Wow, that's really great. Do you feel you've gotten skilled technically in terms of the equipment? Do you feel you've improved at all in terms of moving the cameras, focusing, getting a good shot, all that stuff?
I would say so, yeah. There's definitely going to be room for improvement, but overall I think I've gotten a fair grasp of it over this single semester that I've had with the technology here. But yes, I think I do have a good grasp of it. I would be able to probably run with something if it was given to me.
Wow. Do you critique other shows or documentaries? Do you feel there and do you critique it and look at, wow, why did they pick that shot? What a bunch of morons.
That does come up. I don't really make much note of it, but there have been times where I'm just stuck in edit mode. I'm stuck in critique mode, and I'm just watching something and I'm just noticing a continuity error. Like there's a glass that's on the right side of the table, they cut away, they cut back, it's on the left side of the table and half empty.
Oh, that's pretty good, because I don't notice it the first time around because I'm all engrossed in whatever the story is. But it always interests me when that's pointed out. When they point it out, I'm like, wow, I didn't. There's only one time where I know this. I have one that I noticed. It's not really a discontinuity thing, but it's a Star Trek thing. It's going to show. I'm going to nerd out totally. It's in the Tholian Web episode, and in this episode, somebody like a male nurse or something is getting into a fight with Dr. McCoy. Okay, and they're fighting at this table, and there's bottles they almost look like plastic ketchup bottles, but like in a restaurant, cylinder, not like you would buy. Mm-hmm. And they're on there and they're fighting, and they knock one over, and it flips on the way down and lands upright, completely right on the floor. So it doesn't roll. It actually literally lands upright and is still. And I noticed that. And notices that. I know nobody cares, but that's my one thing, I got. All right. So we're almost done. We got about a minute left. I know I rambled there. We got about a minute left, and here's a question I want to have, because I've thought about this for NFGeeks, is that a lot of videos, and from big channels, okay, huge channels, okay, have they do that quick editing where it's almost ADHD, really fast to cut. You know what I'm talking about? You must know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been thinking, should I do that? For NFGeeks, everyone else is doing that. What do you think of that style of editing?
If you want to try going with that, it'll probably require a better camera. It would probably require.
Really?
Well, I would say you could probably pull it off with the technology you have now, but ultimately I would probably invest in another camera. There's probably also equipment you can use to help with that, and of course software to help you edit it better.
What do you think but as an editor yourself, I'm going to call you an editor. Is that good editing? Is that like aesthetically pleasing? Would you say that's a good thing to do?
It depends on the content that you're trying to deliver.
Well, it would be this. This is the content, us doing this shtick.
There are probably a few methods that you could incorporate to make it a bit more appealing and interesting.
Really? See?
But it's not like you're trying to deliver like pure raw comedy in like a quick and jarring fashion.
No, that's
you
for
know?
sure.
So it really just depends on the content. It depends on the locale. It depends on the environment that you'll be working with, including the content and everything else.
Oh, all right. We'll have to remember that. Well, all right. Well, Gavin, thank you once again for coming. Don't forget to follow NFGeeks on Twitter and Tumblr, and come join the fun on the NFGeeks Facebook forum. And new videos every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Gavin, thanks again for coming. Really love that. And don't forget, what is it? Say it.
It's happening.
It's happening. It's absolutely happening. It really is happening. It is. See? It's happening.